Hey YouTube, this is just a really quick video I'm doing because I've had a few people write in and say, hey, what's going on with your knee? I got an MRI. They had like a doomsday diagnosis. I was freaked out completely. I was like, what is this? I don't know yet exactly what the problem is, but I do know one thing, and I have super bad tendonitis. And when I saw the doctor, he explained to me that my body flips out when it's not prepared for something new that I do. And I've been knowing that. It seemed like when I was younger, in my early 40s, and I would go back to jogging after a long time of not jogging, my Achilles tendons would freak out. And so I just have that propensity to get tendonitis, and it's the big dumb. I guess I partied really hard last May when I came back from my friend's wedding here. B and M got married, and we flew back for it using points and stuff, and it was super fun. But I beachcombed the second day I was here, and that involved rock climbing and up and down and a lot of stuff, and I hadn't done it for a couple months, but I was walking regularly. But still, it's not the same, is it? And then the next day I got blasted at the reception after they got married, and I danced on the sand with my gal that does my massages, for about 3 hours, and I could tell my legs were kind of pissed after that, but I was like, yeah, whatever. And then the next day I jumped off a catamaran into the ocean and swam. And those are all things that I probably could have done really independent of one another. Like 1 month I did the beachcombing, and then the next time I did the dancing, and then the next month I jumped around and did in the ocean, but in a span of 4 days it was too much, and my knee blew up. And I just thought that I had done something to the tendon, I had wrecked it. And that wasn't the case. It doesn't seem like, but we're still not sure. So the basic thing is I have a terrible case of tendonitis, a hip to big toe practically. And then I have some of it in my elbow, and my body's very inflamed right now. So I'm gonna do two things for that. And this is for my nutrition warriors that follow me to find out what new thing I'm doing. I think part of the inflammation problem is that I have a low level, abiding, chronic case of inflammation all the time because of the way I've been eating. And this is gonna segue into that pretty soon, but I wanted to give you guys the news about my knee and the diagnosis with the imaging, which cost about $200. The diagnosis with the imaging was just as, they were like, wow, you've got grade 4 fissures in the cartilage that supports your knee cap the femur joins, the tibia or whatever, and it's all the way open to the bone, they said. And then they were like, and there's a small tear in your meniscus, the posterior horn. I was like, what? Because I did do some stuff when I was younger. I did quite a bit of running and stuff, but as time wore on, I gave that up. I started being more conscientious about how I treated my body, and I hadn't had anything but shin splints sometimes when I was running cross country in high school. So there was no ongoing damage. I always kept myself thin. I always had protein and fat every day, even though I didn't know the fundamentals of things. So that was very strange to me, super strange to me that I would have that level of damage. And it's somebody that takes my image, my MRI, and they throw it up in a light box, and they're an ortho, they're a specialist, and they look up there and they're like, there's this, and this is what I see. And so I was sitting there living with that prognosis for days until I could see the doctor. And then I went in last Monday at 11 and saw him, and he was like, didn't even look at the images. All he wanted to do was find out how I was feeling, where things hurt. He did some tests along my tendons. He got to a tendon that was really quite close to the bend of my knee, and I yelped. Like I went from nothing to like an 8 on the pain scale, 0 to 10. I wasn't expecting it. It was an honest reaction. That's what he was looking for. He goes, okay, first off, you're super inflamed. You have tendonitis. It's so bad. It's such a bad case, so severe. And I'm like, okay. He goes, you're getting up in the morning and you're shuffling from your bed to use the restroom. After you've been seated for 2 hours or so, he says you get up, you shuffle to the next destination. He goes, it's super bad at night. And he says, you're always in pain all the time. Everything's super tight and awful. And I was like, yeah. And here I was continuing to walk every other day, and I was doing my butt workouts. I was incorporating squats for the X3. And he goes, I want all that to cease and desist. He said, I can't even diagnose your knee right now. He says, because it's so inflamed, I can't get to the spots or articulate your knee in the way I need to do to give these diagnostic tests and see if there is any damage to the knee. He couldn't even do it. And he did give me cortisone shots. He gave me one kind of where the knee bends, where the tendons go. Hey, Hubs just came in for a second. He goes, hey, the ice is ready. Sometimes we need to like defrost our freezer, pour it and turn off the ice maker and then open it up, and it has to like, I don't know what it has to do. It has to think, has to ruminate. Anyway, it's super irritating. The cortisone shots. Hubs was right there with me, and he's not much for patting, you know, somebody's butt and giving him sympathy or whatever, but it was exciting. It lit me up. This needle, and he injects this junk, and of course, because he wanted the whole tendon to have relief, he put it in one direction, moved the needle, and made it go the opposite direction so the whole tendon would get saturated with the steroid or cortisone, whatever it is. Anyway, it was super painful, I'd say, and extremely uncomfortable. I wanted to just kind of punch him in the nose and get him away from me. I was like, oh my God. And I'm a person that's never been to the doctor. I've gone to the doctor 4 times, you know, when I had my prenatal appointments for my pregnancies and such. I've never had anything wrong with me per se. It was a unique experience. I was going to the doctor. I had an image done, never had that done before. I had cortisone shots, those were new. And I could feel the needle against one of my kneecap, my bone. It felt cold, it felt awful, but it needed to be done. And he said, this is part test and part diagnostic. He said, and part relief. He said, you will feel better once the cortisone takes effect. He said, but it will also tell me how your knee feels. And so once the cortisone, after a few minutes, you know, 3, 4, 5 minutes after that took, then I did have a lot of relief, because I showed him the top of my kneecap, along the sides of each knee, and then especially behind my knee, have just been swollen, inflamed, super painful for many months now. And I've gotten used to that. You wouldn't think you'd get used to pain, but a person does get used to pain. So I told Hubs I'm gonna implement some new things now so I can just function better. And so I've been doing that. But I'll get to that in a moment, because this is just kind of an update on my knee, but I also want to talk about my carnivore and ketogenic fasting journey, because I am not keto right now. Anyway, got lots of things to update you guys on that. So this is super cool. So this is going to be basically a nutrition video with some stuff about my knee, but it's related. It's related, guys. Anyhow, so he put me on a protocol of a muscle relaxant in combination with anti-inflammatory, in combination with a pain med. The pain med instantly kept me awake all night. I had 2 nights where I only had about 5 or 6 hours of sleep between the 2. I can't have that. I need to be high functioning all day. I've got a job that requires a lot of intense brain engagement. And I couldn't have that. I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna work. So I got rid of those, and they made me gain 5 pounds in 2 days flat. I've never been so heavy aside from being pregnant in my whole life. I just hate the number on the scale. I'm not gonna lie. I don't even wanna tell you. It's bad. It's super bad, guys. So I'm really motivated now. I thought I was motivated before, but now I'm really motivated. So nonetheless, he gave me all that stuff as a protocol to use. My girlfriend B next door, she gave me her heat pad. It's been the single most best thing I've ever used to make my inflammation and my pain feel better. I don't know why the heat works, but it does, and he told me to do that. And so I borrowed hers, and I've been using that on and off all day. It makes me a little hot because, you know, it's 78 degrees in the house or something, and we're inching toward May here in Mazatlan, and that's when it starts to get a little warmer here, which is, it's very pleasant, but you know, you're heating your knee, right? So I'm on that protocol. And then Tuesday, I think it's Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday we go in for the last checkup. He wanted 8 or 9 days to get the knee calmed down so he could check it, because he wants to bend it up and then take the heel back toward my hip to see if it can move in those ways. If I don't have pain, the articulation is fine. And then he looked at the images after, and he said, I don't see the diagnosis the way they see it. He says, I see a knee that is aging appropriately. Anyhow, there's 2 things I know. That's what the knee is. So I'll find out the absolute, is there a problem with my knee aside from the tendonitis? I will find that out on Tuesday. And then I will do a follow-up, and I'll probably caboose it on with one of these nutritional videos too, because I think the stuff's related. So anyhow, I think that for me, that I might be able to take out everything from my diet, even eggs, and just eat beef and butter, because at this stage, I'm not even sure about pork, okay? And I'm gonna give that to myself as a gift. As soon as I return home, I'm already doing some of it now. And the weight loss is there. I want to take this weight off, guys. I really do. But I want this inflammation to go away. That's the first thing. The second thing is I've gained 20 pounds in a year. That can't be good for my body. Pick up a couple of milk jugs and then one that's half full, and then you'll know how much I've gained. And that's a lot. And it's a lot for my joints and my knees. And so I'm having this problem with my knee. So let's get weight off, period. What if he finds out on Tuesday that there is some injury to my knee and it's trying to heal? Get the weight off. Regardless, I have inflammation, which you guys have known for a while. And I'm just really thinking that why not just give myself that 30 to 60 day gift and just have beef and butter. I'd like to get off the coffee too, and I'll talk about that in a moment. Do that for myself and see if the inflammation does improve. I would take anything at this stage right now. I would take anything. It's so miserable. He's right. I feel swollen and inflamed, and it's just a constant. Like he said, you have a very severe case of tendonitis. It's all the way through your legs, probably in other parts of your body. He says we need to get that under control. He, of course, is a doctor, so he's not looking at diet, but I am. So I'm going to be doing that. So those protocols are there, and then hopefully I will lose some weight as well. I did that one other time, as I mentioned, in September of 21 when I came back from Alaska visiting the Jays that live up there. My oldest kid and his wife, they both happen to have J names, so we call them the Jays anyway. And I had put on a little weight when I was there just because I was doing some overeating, right? So as soon as I got home, I went on the steak challenge, and what I found was I didn't have to fast at all. I just had black coffee in the morning. I ate my breakfast around 10, and then I had the evening meal with Mom and Hubs, and that worked out beautifully. I lost almost 5 pounds from that. And I kept a record of what I ate about 3/4 of the time and my weight. And I found that the sweet spot for me was about 2,100 calories or so, since, you know, we have to consider that, I guess, as a quick point of reference. And I think my fat was in the 160s, and my protein was anywhere from 100 to 150, depending on the day. Sometimes I would have a ribeye at night or 2 burgers at night, and that depended. That made it shift off, but it was very simple. I was a little bit boring, but it was satisfying, and I was losing weight, and I felt good. I don't think I gave it long enough. I went back down to Mazatlan. I started eating every other day. I started kind of cheating around the edges like I like to. Like I used to call myself the cheating carnivore. I don't feel like I have that latitude now. Now I just feel like this is it for me. I'm going to have to just get strict, and then we'll see. And if my inflammation goes away and I lose weight at the same time and my joints and everything start feeling better, it's going to probably be that way forever. And the ketogenic fasting is really great if I want to do something like have a birthday or something. But even that, I'm going to keep way down there. I need to get out of this chronic situation I'm in. And then one piece of good news before I end the video, because I just wanted to let you guys know how my knee was doing, what my new plan was, or my advanced plan or my malleable plan. I wanted to do that, but I have had a huge improvement in my skin. And the only thing I did differently was I took out peanuts. I took out peanuts and cashews and peanut butter for like 2 or 3 weeks. Now look at it. I mean, obviously, I'm going to be 57 shortly, okay? There's a couple months. My birthday's in July, so I'm not a young woman, but I look very good skin-wise for my age, right? And I have taken good care of my skin as far as using block and stuff. So that is something that I'm very excited about because it legitimately eliminates legumes and nuts for me. And that was something I was kind of hanging on to. I wanted it to be part of my food group. I was like, I love fries. I love peanut butter. Sometimes I like to have dark chocolate with my peanut butter, and I can't. I get all this dry skin, and then the eczema comes flaring up. Now, I thought maybe it was cream, but now I'm starting to wonder if it's not. But it doesn't matter because dairy stalls. If you can't gain weight on carnivore, introduce dairy. If you can't lose weight on carnivore, take dairy out. And butter's different. Butter doesn't have the same components that, say, cream does or cheeses. Like I had just a pinch of Parmesan cheese on my eggs this morning to add a little bit of flavor. But when I get back home, I won't even do that. I did that today simply because I was very concerned about using some of it up before we leave. As it is, I'm going to have to give a lot of food away, and that's just how it goes. Split lifestyles, guys. And I just want to mention these are Milkmaid braids, and I just did a video on how to do these. If you're interested in my hair videos, you can just pop over to any of the ones where you see the try picture of me with my hairstyles. This is a very good hairstyle for those that want to have a protective hairstyle because they want to grow their hair longer. It's also a very good style for just being a classic, and you can wear it at nighttime. So if you don't want to deal with your hair flying all around all the time, wear this at nighttime. Just add some more bobby pins, no big deal. And it took me about, I'd say less than 10 minutes. So for the really busy woman, that's okay. And I just want to caveat this, I am not a trendsetter type of hair person. I'm always going to wear my hair probably long and one length and classically styled because I like to look good with the things that make me passionate, that make me have confidence, and I feel sexy and feminine with my hair and braids, and I like it up. I think it's super pretty, and my face does show, and that's fine. And then I have the earrings that are shown off, and then collarbones and shoulders are very nice on women too. So that's another caveat. I just love that. So in a few minutes, I'm going to do one more video about my expat life. I have some new prices to talk about, and talking about kind of the logistics of moving and going back and forth, and how Hubs and I have it down to a science. So anyway, if you love this nutrition video and appreciate me updating you on my knee thing and kind of what my new plan is, please like it and subscribe and share with everybody. It's so fantastic when you guys do that. I am starting to grow. It's a small channel, but I'm only putting forth stuff I believe in, that I'm excited about, and I want you guys to be there for my journey and see if I can lose some of this weight. I do follow Kelly Hogan now. I didn't for many years, but she had recently put on some weight too. And it's just slippage. You know, it's you having too much to eat while not moving enough, but I don't believe in that as an absolute thing, but it does make a difference. You know, I have noticed that if I'm walking every day, I can have a little bit more to eat than if I'm not. My body just seems to run better. But she had gotten up to 148 pounds, which I don't consider to be bad. And now she's down to 127, which is a little bit too thin. She's 5'8", so she should be in the low 140s or the high 130s, I think. But it was interesting to see how she did it. And it's more than what I would ever commit to, but she is 12 years younger than me too. So she's in a different mind space, and she's doing this for a living. I doubt she teaches anymore. I think she just does YouTube and her social media stuff to promote carnivore, which I'm really thrilled about. But I'm interested to see what she did to make that happen, and how much she ate, and just kind of what things she did, and I would modify and adopt it for myself. I'm not gonna do 30,000 steps a day. I'm not gonna get a treadmill that's in my house where I can walk at the same time I'm writing my stories or typing. That duality does not interest me. It seems like a fuss and seems complicated, and it seems like too much. But she is doing it, and that's great. Could I take an hour-long walk every day? That I could do. So we just take the things that we know we can sustain or do, and then we let those things go that wouldn't work in our lifestyle, right? So there's that. Anyhow, let you guys go. Thanks for watching. I love you. Share, like.